Hello, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, good whatever time you are watching this. Welcome to Thriving Beyond Borders. This is a show powered by the African American Collective, and every week we come to you with tools, resources to ensure and help the Black diaspora thrive here in the United States and I guess across North America. My name is Nnamdi Henach, Dr. Nnamdi Henach, and I'm the founder of the African American Collective. And this sessions, I'm privileged to be the host for this sessions. I know a lot of you have been gaining value out of this. And so if that is you, then please make sure you subscribe if you have not subscribed already. If you are new to the channel, welcome. We're glad to have you. Still go ahead and subscribe and make sure that you share the details of this with somebody who needs the conversation that we'll be having today. That's how we continue to grow and thrive beyond borders as a collective. Excellent. So let's go ahead and dive right into it. I want to start by saying no one taught us that you can grind yourself into the ground and still not arrive. And today we're talking about, something we don't talk about enough in our community. And that is the mental and emotional cost of the immigrant journey. I think and I believe most of us can relate to this. We have muscled through a lot of mental health conversations and challenges, and we don't talk about it enough. The toll of leaving everything you've known. If you migrated as an adult, like myself, I came here, I was 24, going on 25. I just turned 40 recently. And so it's leaving my home, my siblings, my family, my parents, friends, colleagues, everybody, and the whole life I had known, leaving that behind as an adult. Yes, somebody will say, well, at 24, going on 25, you were still a kid or a baby. Well, that is not true. And I had lived a lot of life, and at that age, I was responsible and old enough to go out on my own to live in a country by myself. But leaving all of that, it takes a mental toll on you. Starting afresh, you think, okay, well, it's the same language and all of that. And then you get here, you realize, well, it might be the same language does not mean the assimilation is the same, that we can say the same things and not mean the same thing. And so that transition is a challenge. And so we don't talk about talk about it enough, the transition and the mental toll it takes on us, or just navigating immigration. Now that you're here and navigating paperwork, you come to school on F1, and now you have to navigate the whole, look, I'm transitioning into the work visa, OPT. Am I getting my OPT renewed? The uncertainty with that. You get your OPT, now you have to figure out H1B. Even for people who go the family routes, it's like, I need to constantly validate and verify that I am legitimate. And so that pressure that we face is real, it is not usual, and it is stressful. And as we get into this today, this is Mental Health Awareness Month. And so we want to talk about it, right? We want to be intentional when we talk about thriving beyond borders. Part of thriving is having a good mental health. Even reference in the Bible, I wish above all that you prosper and be in health, even as your soul prospers. Your soul is the seat of your mind, emotions, and thoughts. And so even God desires that we prosper in that mental health capacity as well. As we navigate Mental Health Awareness Month, I want to really talk about some of the stressors, right? The things that stress us out as African immigrants, those things that we carry, and then we want to talk through the things that we can start doing. Now, I am not an expert in this realm. And, I believe in one of our master classes this month, we do have a mental health professional coming on. But again, yeah, the African American Collective want to ensure that we are thriving wholesomely, right? Not just, from an economic standpoint, we're doing well, we're making money. That's been the focus, right? I want to do well. But it has not translated into quality of life, and we want to change that. And so let's get into the conversations. Now, the question I want to start with, what we carry that others don't, right? The things that they cannot relate. We say, well, you can't relate or you can relate. The first one is status anxiety, right? We are still in the midst of the H1B lottery. If you're somebody who is waiting for your employer to file your H1, you probably are navigating documentation, submitting documents, all of that, like H1B lottery, visa renewals, work authorization renewals, DACA, right? For people who are in that status, DACA uncertainty. It changes based off of the administration, right? Green card backlogs is a thing this year. Previous administrations, there's been, at this time of year, there's always a certain number. This year, the numbers are staggeringly lower for green card application, green card approvals. And so All of these things are stressors. Those are certain things that we only can relate to. I know, and right now I'm a citizen, but I know how it's felt every phase of this. I came here as an F1 student. I went from F1 to OPT, got a job, OPT, went to H1. H1, got married. My wife came. So my wife, came from, and so now we're two of us was H1 and then H4. So she couldn't work, and I could only work for the person. So many different situations and shenanigans that people have to deal with, navigating their journey, their immigrant journey. And so it's something that, hey, we are able to relate at a certain level. The struggle binds us, right? And so that status anxiety is a real thing. The next, thing that we carry that our peers don't is cultural performance pressure. Right, you left here with the weight of expectations of your village people. Your entire community celebrated when you came to America. Your mother went to the church and shared a testimony. Why? Because they believe you have made it. Right, your colleagues, your friends, that they were excited for you, not because you are going to better your life, but because now we are good. We are going to America. While one person is good, all of us are beneficiaries of it. And so that pressure to perform, to live up to the expectation, to not disappoint everybody who has believed in you. You carry that weight. I remember when I started my master's program, my first year, I struggled with understanding, again, communication. I was in Wilmington, South. I didn't realize the concept of accents, Southern accents. And I struggled in a particular class because I couldn't understand what the man was saying. And when I realized, okay, you can't play with this. One, it was a course, it was an it was a prerequisite course, undergraduate prerequisite course that I had to take because I was going to do my master's in information systems and computer science. And I was required to do an accounting course, which I still feel like was completely useless, but hey, it's school. So I struggled with that course, and down the road, you know how you can always project what grade you're going to end with. It wasn't going too well, and my, I guess the course advisor or something, reached out and we had a conversation and, hey, as a graduate student, you get only 2 C's and you're out of the program. That's how I'm going to go back home. So that pressure to perform. That the first thing I thought about in that moment was, is that what I explained to my family, my village people, my siblings, that I couldn't do well in the class? And so that I'm back home because I couldn't pass accounting. I can't feel my family is watching. That pressure is something that we have to live with, that our peers don't necessarily have to experience. The next pressure we carry is the dual responsibility, right? We're building here while supporting back home. All of us have those obligations. Sometimes you wish you could do more, but you realize you're here, you're supporting. If you have your family, if you have aging parents, you're paying hospital bills. If you have them here, you have home, you have extended family obligations. You are the first child like myself. And so now all the obligations that your family, your parents could not carry, now it's your turn to carry them, all that good stuff. So there's that, and you still have to take care of your family here. You have your wife, your kids, you still have to do all those things. Your bills here don't stop because you have obligations in Nigeria, in Cameroon, in Ghana, in Senegal. All of those, you still owe your debts in those places, and they say expect you to come through. And then there's another interesting one that we have to deal with, that our peers, American-born colleagues and peers and brothers and sisters don't have to deal with, and that's the code switching fatigue. Have to that code switching, right? Being African, being the African in the room every single day, and so you have to people people always preach that gospel of be yourself, and it's important to be authentically yourself and all of that. But sometimes you have to also pay attention to the audience that you're, and that's where it is different for us, right? There is language that is consistent for us. Like I said before, there are certain expressions that we use back home that you can't use here. They mean different things. There are certain jokes that fly back home that don't fly in corporate America. There are certain expressions that fly back home. So your code switching is not always I'm not being authentic. It is actually sometimes being, I'm trying to keep my job here, right? And so we constantly have to deal with that. You have to work on your pronunciations. Feel like, okay, yeah, you might not lose your accent. You have not lost my accent. People are talking to an old friend recently. They're like, well, you've been here all this while. You haven't lost your accent. Well, I came here as an adult, so that's not going to happen, because now I'm going to sound. Some people try to do their accent and then they sound funny because you're a confused mix of your African accent and the American accent that is not real. You don't have an American accent. You don't have an African accent. You're somewhere in the lost middle. You're a beast of no nation. We can identify you. And so That's a very difficult place to be. We have to navigate all of that while still trying to be authentic, still trying to be our full selves, but making sure that we are navigating corporate spaces and business spaces the right way. And so these are, some of the things that I have lived and I can relate to, and we, all of us listening to this, can relate to. And so, what does burnout look like in our community? Okay, what does it look like? How do I know that I'm burning out? We don't always recognize it because we are raised not to stop. That is the truth. It's just something that we're because we're so go, 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 we don't see it that I'm burning out. Experiencing, I remember again going through, I remember when I was in school, I can never forget my cousin coming one day and looking at me like, no, you're depressed. I'm fine, I'm fine. I was like, you're like, I'm fine. Like, nah, you're bright, you're not okay. Right? And so those moments, we might not recognize them. It's possible to be going through these situations and not realize that it's happening to you. Okay, so what are some of the signs to look out for? Again, I want to do that disclaimer. I'm a professional, I'm a business owner, I'm a business person, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a career professional. I am not a mental health expert. But some of these things should be triggers to you to go ask questions, right? And so that's where I'm coming from. So some signs to pay attention to: chronic irritability. You're just angry, upset. You snap very fast. That chronic irritability. The next one I have here is creative drought. You're not operating at that optimal capacity that you can operate at. The next one is decision fatigue. I can tell you about this one, where because again you have to make those decisions. Your people are looking to you because a lot of decisions involve money. A lot of it involves money, payment, all of that, resources, and so it finds a way back to your table a lot of the time. How do I navigate all of that? So decision fatigue, and then you also have some other symptoms, that some other physical symptoms. I'll say talk to mental health experts for some of these things. So there is also that stigma barrier. Right? We don't want to ask these questions, and I'm casually saying talk to a mental health expert. There's one that is not because it's not a, how do I say it? Because it's not a prominent career in our community. A lot of our people don't go into that career path. A lot of our children don't get into that career path. A lot of immigrants, there's not as many African doctors as there are in Emory, in Grady, in all of those major hospitals here in Atlanta or across the country, right? More than likely, if you go to a doctor, a medical facility here in the US, there's 1 in 10, I'll say maybe a 20% chance that you're going to be treated by an African doctor or nurse. Immersed as we are in the medical space, the mental health space is still one that we're not many. It's not as exciting. That is because of the cultural stigma that we have. Our people don't believe, tell someone they're depressed, you've cost them. It's an insult, right? Experiencing this. And so that stigma barrier, it's a big thing for us because that leads to us underutilizing these resources. One of the amazing things about the US is the availability and accessibility of a lot of these resources, being with employers that have a part of your insurance actually covers you going for, therapy, right? Counseling. It's covered in your insurance. A lot of people don't even know they have that. And some of it is covered by insurance. Again, because we underutilize these resources that are available to us. A lot of people have their paid time off, vacation days, sick days, and they never think that, hey, taking a mental health rest and reset day is a valid use of my sick day. And so we see us carrying over sick days year in, year out, and so that stigma is real and it's time to start calling it out. And that's something that we're going to keep doing on this platform. And again, within the collective, we will still have more conversations inside. But I want to say here categorically, like, rest is not laziness. Okay, even though our culture is so anti-rest, we interpret, rest as redundancy. What is redundancy? That's wrong. It's just, again, not African English. We interpret rest or stopping as, not being driven enough and not being, you have to power through it. Rest is not laziness. Rest is actually maintenance, right? Your body needs rest. Your mind needs rest. You need to stop. A lot of time when you stop, I've found this to be true when I go with my family and I go on vacation, it's almost like a button is unlocked I can sleep. You realize you have been so tired, and it's like your body's like, finally, somebody hears me, right? And so I can sleep. And like, and then I feel like, man, you're sleeping too much. You won't be able to sleep at night. It's a lie. I will still sleep at night, right? Because your body needs that. Take so use those PTO days, right? You're clocking from one job, you clock into the next one, and you're going from one employer to the next one to the next one. So I've seen people who have 3 jobs, and then they still have a family, and you want, how does that work? You right? So how do you deal with the kids? All of that, and so rest is maintenance. You have to be alive for the people you're working for, right? That's more important, And so I want to really emphasize that, right? This is your permission to rest, And so let's talk about some practical shifts that we need to make, as we navigate this conversation. The first shift is I needed to reframe rest as performance infrastructure, not reward, right? So people only, it's only on during vacation because I've worked so hard. I'm on vacation now. I can rest. No, it's part of how to get optimal performance out of yourself, right? To optimally perform, I had a shift in my mindset when it came to sleep and rest, because I have come from this background of you don't sleep, right? You sleep when you're done, not when you're. And the reason you are tired is your body is telling you it's time to shut it down. And sometimes you have to put what your body is telling you ahead of how your personal what will I call it, motivational and moral, whatever it is that's driving you. You have to put your body signals first. Your body is telling you I'm tired, I'm exhausted. The same way when you're hungry, it's time to eat. When your body is telling your eyes are shutting up by itself, it's not time to power up or drink another coffee. Maybe it's time to actually stop and sleep, right? Instead of working yourself, because your body is telling you I need rest so that I can perform better. You will get more out of your body, out of your mind, if you listen to your internal signals. And so it's important to note that, right? Rest is not laziness. It is actually maintenance. It's an infrastructure for performance. It's not a reward. You see athletes, professional athletes, sleep is a major component for them performing at that high level. If you've ever been involved in a fitness regiment or program, you've gone through any of that, they will tell you minimum required amount of sleep for different ages. In some ages, you should be sleeping 10 hours, right? 12 hours, no, not 12 hours. I've not seen the 12-hour, but 8 hours, 10 hours. 7 is almost always the minimum most of these programs recommend, right? Yes, it's you can have the mindset. I had the mindset where if you sleep for 8 hours a day, by the time you're 75, you would have slept for 25 hours, right? Which may be true. However, what makes the 50 that you've been awake be relevant? What makes it to be what supercharges your production in those 50 years of you being awake is rest. Those 25 hours of sleep make the 50 worthwhile. So, and again, I said that mental shift happened for me while I was in doing my master's program. I was having this debate about sleep with somebody, and like why sleep should not be a deterrent. You have things to do, get it done, and the young Caucasian gentleman was like, Nambi, my sleeping for 8 hours is what makes my 10 hours of work productive. It is, I need it to be productive and functional. That was when I really sat down to think. A lot of these times when I power through and I work, I'm trying to drive on very limited sleep, I'm not as productive. And so I am still losing out on the production that I am trying to have by not resting. And so please, rest and sleep is not a reward. It's part of your, it's what helps you perform perform optimally. The second shift, you need to build a weekly decompression protocol, right? You need to build a weekly decompression protocol, right? It's whether it's, screen-free mornings, taking walks, conversations, that don't have anything to do with work, that are not mission-driven. My wife and I, we talk about it all the time. Like, we need to stop turning personalities. We're having our natural just, and then it turns to business meeting. So, but just that decompression protocol. We started having these conversations, and I was telling my wife, I was like, hey, in the morning, no phone. Right, if it's until we engage meaningfully and connect at a personal level, let's refrain from touching technology. It's because it's important. And that way, I am not, because you wake up, you open up your phone, now you see emails, you see work. And by the time you talk to your partner, you're already under that stress of the. So it's one of the things we put in place as protocol to help us. With making sure that we're not starting the day with aggression. You have those taking walks in the afternoon where, leave your phone out. I try to do my workouts in the morning, and I make sure I leave my phone in the room. Even though I work out in the house, I do it from the screen on my TV, workout, but make sure that, hey, because that phone is there, it's going to keep calling your name, like, come and check that email real quick. You're expecting something. So having those protocols to help you decompress in the evening, maybe try to read something that is not work, that is not even education, quote unquote. It's going to be educational, but not education in the context of work, but more, refresh, more reset, more, you can think that will just reinvigorate your mind and your spirit without having to remind you of obligations and expectations and all of that. The third shift is normalize talking to someone, please. Therapy, coaching, trusted, advisor, your pastor, a mentor, a sponsor, those things. Your load is not meant to be carried alone. And I'm going to go spiritual. Like Jesus said, cast your burdens on me. It's God who said, hey, I am here for you. You're not meant to do this yourself. There is the reason why the whole marriage system was created was, hey, it's not good for you to be alone. Other scriptures will tell you, woe to him that is alone, when there's nobody to warm them up, and all of those things. There is so many. My TED talk was about the power, around the power of community. I'm not trying to give it away. I want people to talk. We'll see it when it comes out, and be blown away by by the conversation. So I won't give you all the gist of it, but a lot of the context of it was in the power of community, right? In the people around you and leveraging all of that. And so have that people that you talk to, trusted friends that you can say, hey, this is how I'm feeling. A dear friend now, a family friends, but now it's become more personal than just a general family friend situation. But how we connected was like he wanted to, hey, I need someone I can talk to, around these things that I can relate to me at this certain level. And I'm like, hey, this is what I'm thinking. I was like, sure, let's have this monthly meetings. And then when we started, I realized I needed it more than him. And so now I'm the one like, guy, where are we meeting? And so it's half to what you're talking to, your pastor. Again, I know there's a lot of stigma around. The world has tried to ruin the importance of having pastors in your life. I'm telling you, pastors are an incredible blessing to the people. A lot of us come from, very faith-based backgrounds. And so please don't throw that away. Your pastor has an important role that they play in your spiritual life, in your work. It could be, and you can have your parents, if they are, alive and healthy and of sound mind, they have value. Again, your siblings, right? So have normalized talking to somebody. If you are in a position where you could use, afford or use therapy, people think things have to be wrong with you before you go to therapy. You have to be plunging. No, you can do therapy for maintenance, right? It can be maintenance. Just let me go talk through certain things going on with me, make sure that I'm in the right state of mind. The same way I don't wait for my car to drive up an engine knock before I go do oil change. You don't have to wait till you malfunction before you go to therapy. If your job gives you insurance that gives you therapy, please use it. Right? As somebody who has been to therapy, I'll tell you it does a lot for you. It's good. It's healthy for you. It really is. Again, if you're somebody, you can find the kind of therapist you want. You can really pick. Right now, there's infrastructure for you to choose what kind of therapist you can use. If you want somebody from the continent, you want to talk to somebody who can relate to your situation, you have the option to look for that. You want somebody who is a person of faith, you have that option. And so it's important you don't say, hey, you want to be able to express yourself at okay, I don't want this kind. Be picky. I want you to be picky with who you choose as your therapist. But what I don't want you to do is not use, especially when you have the resources or the means, right? If you work a job in corporates and your insurance covers therapy, counseling, please use it. Don't wait till you're going crazy for it. No, you don't. It's not for crazy people or people who have something going on with them. It could just be maintenance. Do that. I think it's super important that we take advantage of things. I hope somebody has gained some value out of this. Again, make sure you subscribe to this channel. And really quick, this May, as I get set to close, AIM is turning 2 years old, right? 2 years of showing up for our community across the country, showing up for African immigrants, for African diaspora, and now we've extended just beyond Africans. We have a lot of non-African but Black immigrants who are connected to our mission and our work, and we are proud and grateful to serve. And so my call I'm going to ask is, if this community has added to your journey, I want to ask you to invest in it. Go on our website, africanimmigrantcollective.org, and make a gift, right? Again, I want to emphasize We want people to become recurring donors. Your $10 a month, $20 a month, 50, $100, $1,000, 2,000, $10,000, whatever it is. It helps us, be able to serve people. Our goal is to reach 3,000 people this year, through events, through programming, through our master classes, and we need your help to accomplish that. There are so many African immigrants here who need resources, who need information. And we want to do more, we want to scale the impact of our immigration clinics. We want to stretch the reach of our master classes. We want to have different things to make sure we're better serving our people. We have bigger dreams and goals, but it's going to be possible with the support of the community. And so I'm calling on all of you. If this has been a blessing to you, or you've gone through our page and you're impressed by the work that you see we're doing, and you're wishing, man, I wish I had this during my time. Well, you might not have had us, but the person coming behind you could use us. And so the importance of the work we're doing. Please support it. Right? That's my call out to you. I'm challenging you to please support the work. Yes. And then again, that's our 2-year call out. And please, if you have not signed up for our advocacy conference, registration is now open. We're excited. It's going to be incredible. Go ahead and sign up for that. It is a free event. And so go ahead and register for the advocacy conference. It's going to be amazing. Again, go on our website, and if you go to programs or if you go to events, you will see it, drop down of events. Advocacy conference is coming up June 27th. It's packed. We're going to have people from the government talking through just advocacy, getting involved, and how to get plugged in, what we need to be. It's going to be an all-day event. We're in partnership with the Gwinnett Chambers of Commerce, because that day will also be the graduation for our Business Igniter program, which is going to be launching very soon this month. It's launching. So if you are a business owner, someone who is starting something, early stage business owner, or somebody who's at idea stages, and you're trying to figure out the best route to navigate business, especially here in the US, or you just started the business out of hustle, but no structure around it, then this program is built for you. Don't make any mistakes. Again, our whole initiative is nobody has to start from scratch. So we don't want you to make a mistake in your process, and we want you to be successful. We want you to set your business up to where it's a bankable business. It's a business where people take you seriously. It's a business where investors can actually be interested in what you're doing. I'm talking about. And so if that's you, please go ahead and register for this Business Igniter program. Thanks to our friends, our partners at the Gwinnett Chambers Foundation, the tuition of this has been covered. There is a registration fee, but it is significantly insignificant, right? So because it's covered, the weight of pushing and doing this is being carried by the chambers. And so we're able to bring this program to our community at a very significant amount. You have to be willing to invest. It's 4 weeks, 10 sessions, value packed and transformational. So go ahead and register for that as well. The graduation will be during the Advocacy and Policy Conference. And if you're not based in Georgia, you can still be a part of the Business Igniter program. You don't have to be in Georgia or in Gwinnett to be a part of it. It's just a collaboration, but it's virtual. The sessions will be virtual, so you can still be a part of it. And then, you can make your way down here for the graduation. And even if you can't make it, that's fine. But just get the knowledge and partake of the value that we're trying to give and serve our community. All right. Thank you for listening to me today. I know you've gained value. Again, make sure you subscribe. Share this video with somebody who needs it. And I will see you in the next video. God bless you.